Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good time in Argentina. Yo soy argentino. I'm going to do this talk in English so we can all be on the same page. So, as Desiree just said, I'm Agustín. I'm the head of operations and partnership at Paraswap. And Paraswap is a DEX aggregator. We are one of the leading DEX aggregators. And my talk today is about how we are collaborating with Avalanche Core Wallet in order to break the barriers or make the experience easier for all the users that want to access the liquidity that is spread in DeFi. So first of all, let's set the context. So imagine a user wants to swap one token to another token in DeFi. The ideal situation would be something like this, where the liquidity is sitting only in one source. Let's call it source, but you can imagine it can be a decentralized exchange, an AMM, and the user has his tokens or her tokens, go to this source and swaps his tokens for other tokens. But the reality, as you might be aware of, is that this is not how it works in DeFi. So in DeFi, it looks more like this. The liquidity of a certain token, it's spread among a lot of liquidity sources, a lot of DEXs, a lot of AMMs, and not only in a simple chain, but also in multiple chains. So it gets very complex when a user wants to swap one token for the other. First of all, because the user probably does not know all of these liquidity sources. And on the second place, because that user probably don't know what's the optimal route for swapping his or her tokens. So what's the role of aggregators like Paraswap here? So instead of the user having to know or interact with every liquidity source for swapping tokens, aggregators come in the middle. So aggregators like Paraswap integrate all the liquidity sources, or the most amount of liquidity sources, and facilitate this way or this road for the user that wants to swap one token for the other. So what are the three benefits of using an aggregator when swapping tokens? The three benefits would be, the first of all is that the liquidity, it's aggregated. Users don't need to know or don't need to interact with all the liquidity sources. The second one is that the user, when swapping one token to the other, get less slippage. What does slippage means? You might probably know that when user interacts with one decentralized exchange, there is a certain amount of liquidity available for swapping that token. If the user makes a trade that it's large enough to imbalance that pool, the user gets a worse rate for swapping one token for the other. In the end, what happens is that the user gets less token than what he would have get if he would have swapped optimally. So aggregators, by aggregating all these liquidity sources, are able to determine the optimal route for swapping one token to the other and splitting the trades among different liquidity sources. So not only finding the sole place where the liquidity is sitting at, but also having the intelligence or the ability to split the trade amongst different liquidity sources, resulting in more tokens for the user, resulting in better prices. And finally, the third benefit of using aggregators is the gas optimization. So you can imagine that doing complex trades, splitting trades among different liquidity sources, it's very high gas consuming. So if we didn't take into account the gas that we are using for doing these complex trades in the route, we will end up, let's put an hypothetical example, getting one more token just because we are doing the optimal route, but spending 10 tokens in gas. So this would not make sense. So optimizing gas and having this gas optimization into how we are calculating the optimal route, it's also important to get the best prices for the users. So this is how aggregators are helping users swapping one token to the other. What you probably are wondering right now is how we are collaborating Paraswap with Avalanche and with Avalanche Core Wallet. So Paraswap can be accessed, Paraswap aggregator can be accessed through Paraswap frontend, but also it can be accessed through APIs. All our partners integrate our API in order to offer all these benefits to their end users. So basically, when a partner integrates Paraswap API, they are enabling all the aggregator benefits, all the routing benefits to their users who wants to swap one token for the other. And Avalanche Core Wallet is one of our greatest partners. When any one of you access the Avalanche Core Wallet, whether it is through the mobile app, through desktop, or through the Chrome extension, and you swap one token to the other, you are in the backend using Paraswap. And this partnership has already processed $500 million, more than 80,000 transactions, and helped more than 40,000 unique wallets, which can be users, can be that a user has more than one wallet, I don't know, but 4,000 wallets. So this is our partnership until now. This has helped Avalanche Core Wallet users to access the liquidity that is spread among the different liquidity sources on Avalanche and also on other chains. But let's explore now how we are thinking that we can still improve the experience of the Avalanche Core Wallet users. So the way we think and we are planning to keep improving this experience is by intents. Has someone heard here about intents, what intents are, or has probably, yeah, there. So the intents narrative, it's very spread and it's very, has been very hot right now because everyone is talking about intents. And Paraswap, it's not the exception. So 2 months ago, we released our intents-based trading protocol, which is called Paraswap Delta. What's the benefit of using intents, of trading through intents? Well, imagine that a user can express his or her intention for swapping one token for the other just by saying, I want to swap token A for token B, and I want to have this output at the end. I don't care how is it done. I don't care about gas settings. I don't care about slippage settings. I don't care about complex things. It's not that I don't care. I don't need to even know about those. I just express my intentions of what I want to do. And someone, an entity, let's call it an entity for now, will take care of solving this for the user. This is intents trading. What are the benefits for users that trade through intents? The first one is that the trading experience is easier and it's improved. Why? Because I cannot miss. I cannot have an error in my swap. I cannot swap and end up with an undesired result. Because why is this? Because I just express my intention and someone will solve it under that conditions. Second improvement, it's gasless transaction. So you probably have noticed that when you want to swap one token for the other on most of the chains, you need to have the gas token to pay for that transaction. Well, in this case, in intents trading, that entity that solves your intention, it's the one who pays for the gas. So you can basically submit a swap one token for the other without having AVAX in case of Avalanche chain. And the third one, but it's not less important, it's MEV resistant. These transactions that go through intents are not submitted to the public mempool. They are routed through this private entity. And this is why the transactions are not exposed to MEV. What does this mean for the user? Is that in the end, they will get better pricing and better results after the swap. So Paraswap Delta, our intent solution, has been live for 2 months already. It has processed 230 million already, and in more than 4,000 transactions. But how is this related to Avalanche Core Wallet? Well, until now, Paraswap Delta has only been live on Paraswap UI, and now we are enabling API integrations for partners. This means that all our partners would be able to integrate Paraswap Delta in their UIs, similar to what Avalanche Core Wallet is doing with our aggregation swaps. So we expect that in the future, Avalanche Core Wallet integrates Paraswap Delta as they are integrating the aggregator now, and can enable all these benefits for the users. And just to round up and to also have some time for questions, I wanted to show you a quick example of how intents work today. So imagine that you want to have a coffee, and you go to a coffee store, and you ask, can I have a double coffee with this specific amount of grains, and I want my coffee to be done under this recipe and under these steps? Well, probably what will happen is that the restaurant or the coffee store will follow my recipe, and I will have, at the end, my coffee. But probably none of you, or at least me, at least I don't go to a coffee store and just order my coffee like this. I just go and express a simple or an easier way to order a coffee. And this is how DeFi swaps work today. So the user that wants to swap one token for the other has to determine and has to set a lot of complex things that probably they don't care or they just don't know. The truth, and what we are aiming to do with the Intents experience, is that you go to a coffee store, you order an Americano, and someone who is more expert probably than you will take care of that, and you will end up with your desired result. So in DeFi, it pretty looks like this. Imagine you are an end user, you are using backend APIs, let's call it that way, but it can be spread into relayers that it's taking the user's intent and sending to these agents or solvers that are actually solving what you need. And the end result would be that the user gets token A for token B swapped. Thank you. Muchas gracias por la atención. And now let's do some questions.
Hey, my question is, how is intent-based trading different from a limit order?
It's a very good question. When you have a limit order, you are waiting for those conditions that you set to accomplish. So you probably say, I want to swap, let's say, ETH to USDC at this certain price. And that would be a limit order. That limit order can be filled probably by anyone, depending on how the backend infrastructure is configured. On intents, what we are developing is market trading through intents. The use case that we are developing, it's market trading. So basically, you set the price, you set the tokens that you want to swap one for the other. You can set the price at the end price that you desire, and you just submit it, and someone would fill it for you. But limit orders, it's a very good use case that can be solved with intents. So you can have, imagine intents like a modular use case library. So you can have the limit orders use cases, the market order use cases, the cross-chain order use cases, and anyone could pick from those modules and use that intents module in order to enable that feature for their users. That's what we are designing right now. Limit orders is something that we have developed, but not through intents. We are using backend APIs in order to fill those limit orders. And that's not through intents. It's actually backend APIs. So just to answer your questions, limit orders and intents are not two different things, can be compatible. The thing is you can have limit orders solved through intents, as you can have market orders also solved through intents. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Agustín. I also want to thank our team of translators who are working really hard to do away with the language barrier. So a big round of applause for translators and Agustín.